Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great week so far. I want to take a couple of minutes to give you a quick update and some important information about the coaching plan. I know Professor Lemke has met with you about the coaching plan. So we have a coaching process we call the coaching cycle, and the expectation is that all student teachers will go through this coaching cycle at least 3 times during the student teaching semester. The purpose of the coaching cycle is to help you become a reflective practitioner, to identify your strengths and identify areas that could be improved, and then to develop and put into place action steps to attempt to improve those areas. You are the one who's responsible for owning and facilitating this coaching cycle process, but your cooperating teacher and your supervisors, we are here to help you through the process in whatever way we can. So we can help you brainstorm strategies to help you meet your identified area for growth. We can help you brainstorm ways that you could collect data. We can give you feedback throughout the process, certainly, but the expectation is that you will take ownership for leading this process and sharing your coaching plan with your supervisor and your cooperating teacher. So the basic premise of the coaching cycle is that you'll first identify an area of strength, something that's going well, and you can use feedback you've gotten already from your supervisor, from your cooperating teacher, to list an area of strength or multiple areas of strength, and then to select one area for improvement, an area for growth, and then to brainstorm some specific action steps. You'll put those here, some specific action steps you can take to try to address that area. And then probably the most important part of this whole coaching process is that you identify ways that you can collect data, because the goal here is for you to put in place some action steps, some strategies, and then to gather data to see if it actually those strategies actually work to improve that area. So you're going to need to be really specific about how can you collect data to see if that thing is actually working. And that's where your cooperating teacher and your supervisor can really be helpful for you in helping to brainstorm ways you could collect data. And then afterwards, you're going to reflect on how did it go after you implement those action steps for a certain period of time, maybe a week or two. You're going to collect data during that time period and then reflect on how it went, and either set a new goal for the next coaching cycle, or you may say, I need to focus on this same goal because I didn't see the growth I wanted to. And so you could keep the same goal and just come up with some different action steps to try, so that you could have 2 or even 3, of your coaching cycle plans that focus on the same goal, just using different strategies to accomplish that goal. So over the semester, you're going to complete this cycle 3 times, and we're asking that one of those 3 times focus specifically on blended teaching. So you're going to be asked to turn in a coaching plan sometime in February, sometime in March, and sometime in April. So for your 3 coaching plans, one of those, we're asking that you focus on blended teaching. You can choose whether that's your February coaching plan, your March coaching plan, or your April coaching plan. And I have just a few suggestions of things you might want to think about as you're trying to determine what might be your area for improvement in your coaching plan when you're focusing on blended teaching. Now, not all of you have picked up your blended subject area yet, so you might not really know yet what you need to focus on. So you may want to wait until you get a week or 2 into your blended instruction and start your blended coaching plan then. Or maybe this is your first week with your blended content area, or next week might be your first week in your blended content area, and so you might be ready to put a plan in place. It can be helpful to be proactive instead of reactive. So in other words, to have a plan in place as you begin your blended teaching instead of waiting until a problem arises later and then using the coaching plan to address it. So I've brainstormed just a few ideas to help you think about what you might focus on in your blended coaching plan, just from what I know might be difficult for you. So the first idea is managing a blended learning environment. So some of you are making some major classroom changes to procedures and processes and structures and formats for literacy or for math in your blended instruction. And so the management of that might prove to be a challenge for you and your cooperating teacher. So you may choose to focus your area of growth on how to manage that environment by putting some strategies in place to assist with that management, and then collecting data to see if those strategies are effective. Another suggestion is using data to personalize learning. So instead of just planning based on what you think students need or what's next in the pacing guide or the textbook, actually planning your instruction based on student data. So using pre-assessments, using formative assessments, using what you know about student learning and student needs to personalize instruction. Another suggestion is using blended methods to provide feedback to students, prompt feedback. That could be feedback that you give orally, it could be feedback you give in a math journal, it could be feedback that you give through Canvas. So some way to give students more feedback on how they're learning. Because remember, one of the goals here of blended learning is to transfer ownership of learning to students. And in order for them to take ownership of their learning, they're going to need some feedback on the progress that they're making. Another suggestion is to use blended methods to provide immediate intervention. So as you notice that needs arise, as you see that students are struggling, maybe 3 or 4 students are struggling in an area, that you use blended methods to address that immediately instead of waiting until the end of the week or the end of the unit and then reviewing. So you can use blended methods to create, for example, a screencast, create an Educreations or a Nearpod, and have that small group review it. Or you could use blended methods to pull that small group during your station time so that you're addressing student needs as soon as they arise, as immediately as possible. Another suggestion is meeting diverse learning needs through playlists and pathways. That means ensuring that your playlists and pathways include lots of different ways for students to engage in content and different ways for students to show what they know, so that you're giving students choices that match diverse learning needs and different learning styles. Another suggestion is using blended methods to give students choice. Some of you are in classrooms where there hasn't been a lot of student choice yet, so you could create some action steps to ensure that students get to make more choices in their learning by using blended methods. And a final suggestion is using blended methods to allow students to move at their own pace. This is a major change that some of you will be introducing in your classrooms through your blended content area, is giving students an opportunity to move at their own pace. And that most likely is a new thing for this classroom, for your students, and for your cooperating teacher. So you could have a coaching plan in place to help support you with that. So those are just some suggestions. Those are not it's not an exhaustive list, but I think that's a pretty solid list of things that would pose potential obstacles for you as you transition into blended teaching, and some ways that a coaching cycle might be able to help you. So as you get started with your coaching cycle and you're ready for your one coaching cycle that's focused on blended teaching, please be in touch with me. You can email me a draft of that, or you can just email me an idea and ask for suggestions. I'm happy to help you. I can come meet with you to help you draft something. But remember, it's your job to really get the ball rolling with your coaching cycle, and to just let your cooperating teacher and your supervisor know what you need from us. Please let me know if you have questions. Best of luck.